Alright, we're on NFP week. The only news we have today is at the end of London session, so we'll have to keep that in mind if we are still in a trade at that time. It could be a reversal or something for us to look out for. Let's see, on the weekly, actually let me go back here and just start over. Weekly, we have, honestly, I want a bullish week because I don't like how smooth these highs are. Obviously this looks like a trend line right here, and then we had a reaction. This candle reacted off of taking this low, this monthly short-term low, and then I'd like to see some sort of a reaction higher. On the daily though, it's not showing like we're getting that. We are in an area where it could happen, but we don't have any reason to be hunting long yet, right? Monday went lower, stayed inside this daily fair value gap, but I'm pretty sure it closed past, yeah, it closed past this inverse fair value gap. Next day, wicked it and opened below this daily fair value gap and wicked that as well. So we're kind of trading based off of that day, right? So the daily order flow is bearish now that we've displaced through this opposing daily fair value gap and went back on the other side of this inverse fair value gap. Obviously that means that 4 hour has also had its own change in the state of delivery as well. So yeah, like I said, we are kind of in an area where we would have a reversal, but I feel like if we would have one already, probably would have happened off of this previous day, right? Like we probably wouldn't have taken this previous day's low like we just have. So 4 hour, we just reacted off this 4 hour fair value gap. We also have this 4 hour redelivered rebalance right here. Actually, this is kind of a weird one. I guess it would be something like that. That looks right. Anyways, we have just over 40 minutes until this 4 hour candle closes on the daily, or on the dollar. Again, this is previous day low sweep, and it's looking like an OTE play. Looks like we made a high, low, equal high, lower low. I'll probably be anchoring from this high, OTE like that. Slap something like that on. Let's look at the euro. I don't like this sell side liquidity on euro, but whatever. Euro GBP still hasn't taken this high. Bullish bias for Euro GBP, but it's just been moving sideways, so whatever. I also don't like how this 1 hour closed, or this 4 hour closed, after taking previous day's high inside of this premium bearish daily fair value gap. But we did just close through it. Hold on. So this candle closed through it, opened, and then closed. So we did disrespect this daily fair value gap as well. So it's gonna be running with the same thing. Let's see. I'm gonna go with a similar anchor. Boom. How's the 30-minute look? This will do. Throw that on. I just really don't like this sell side liquidity, but this is order flow, so I guess it doesn't matter. I'm gonna go ahead and throw this trade on. Set this buy limit. Since I can't do 4 contracts because it's way over my 1%, I would have to move my entry down a good bit. I think I would rather just lower my contract size and then move my entry up just 1 tick, just to make sure I get in. I think that's what I'm gonna do. Boom. Readjust this, and then I do think that this 4 hour fair value gap could get hit. I think it's pretty likely. So we're in a brand new 4 hour candle in the euro, which I think is perfect time to make a low for my entry. So I want my entry to be the low of this 4 hour candle. And then what else are we looking at? 1 hour. Yeah, I think targeting this 4 hour fair value gap is a good target. So now I'll get back to see if I'm entered. Alright, looks like price is finally coming down. I'm just gonna move it up so we can secure getting in. There we go. It did run to this 4 hour fair value gap beforehand, tapped into it, but I'm still running it. If you look at the dollar, this is the start of the new 4 hour candle, right? So I could see this, vice versa of the euro, right? I can see this making the high of the 4 hour in here, and then continue lower. But let's see what happens. I'm in, I'm tapped. We still have 2.5 hours on the euro 4 hour candle as well. The only thing is that it just has this pretty big wick to the upside that I'd like to see get completely retraced and filled back in. But yeah, we in. Alright, here's the check-in part of the video. So we had this 15-minute close, obviously past this for value up, right? So I don't really, let's check the 30 minute. No, nothing on the 30 minute. So I don't like that. Had some decent drawdown. Was kind of freaking out a little bit, but not really. Not freaking out like I usually do. It was just like, as soon as it got to around here, I started double checking everything. I was checking the daily, I was checking the dollar, I was checking the 4 hour. Could I have missed something, whatever, but I usually do that, so it is what it is. But then obviously price came back up, and then I was chilling and saw this giant wick. And so now what I'm thinking is we need to blow past this. It is an OTE trade, so the only thing I thought of, I also thought of this while price was down here in this area, was maybe I could just move my stop loss to this overall Asia's lows, because I have 2 contracts on 37 ticks, so that's 12, under 500. So I figured if I move my stop loss, what I think I'm going to do is, if this trade doesn't end up running by the time London session closes and I go to bed and I'm getting ready to go to sleep, then I think I want to move my stop loss to Asia's lows, because it'll still be, let me just do the math for you guys real quick. 42, calculator, 42 times 12.5, pretty much 1%, right? And then that would give it room to breathe while I go to bed, and then it could do its thing, right? But at the same time, I'm like, dude, if it's going to go all the way down to where my stop loss is right now, then from overall OT, like from Asia, like the low of Asia to here, where my stop loss at, is even more of a shave than the 90%. So I really don't think I need to adjust my stop loss, but pretty much halfway through this 15-minute candle, I just want to see it blow past this 15-minute inverse for value gap. So that's how I'm feeling. Alright, considering London session just ended and the 1 hour, actually we're not even 15 minutes into the 1 hour yet. What I was going to say is, since we made this giant wick to the upside, along with the previous 1 hour candle leaving a giant wick to the upside, expecting I might end up getting stopped out, but I am going to go lay in bed and watch my show while I'm watching this. So I'll keep an eye on it till probably about there. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, pretty much 5 more 15-minute candles to form before I'm actually knocked out for the night. See, obviously how it reacted off this 15-minute for value gap I don't really like, but I think it could still turn around, so I'm not too worried about it. 4 hour, we have a little under an hour left, and it's not looking the best. Has the dollar, honestly I don't mind the dollar. I'm kind of rocking with it. The only downside with the dollar is that it hasn't tapped into its OTE yet, right? But it has tapped into the 1 hour premium array, so it's fine. I guess I'll just see how it goes tonight, if not tomorrow. Okay, so I did end up getting stopped out. Let me remark this up real quick, hold up. Alright, so we got stop loss there, entry, boom. Okay. Alright, I know it's a completely different day, but I wanted to make this because I recorded part of the video after I took the loss of trying to explain to myself why I took the loss or whatever. And at the end of the day, it was just unpredictable for the daily, right? We were literally in the middle of this range. I was like overthinking why I took the loss and how to prevent it and all these things. And part of what I was thinking about was, oh, we have previous daily sweep, and then we have this 30-minute engulfing candle here and here after we take previous day's low, and every time it does that inside of London session, it just ends up running a little bit, right? So I was like, at first I was like, oh, I need to start implementing this, and I should have taken this because I saw this 15-minute, if I look at Bureau, I saw this 15-minute for value gap forming, and this is a clear change in the state of delivery, so I could have taken this and then bagged out the trade, whatever. But at the end of the day, it was just a loss. You know what I mean? I literally went from like thinking about that, like, okay, well maybe I need to start implementing these previous daily sweeps, even if it's against order flow, still take those, you know what I mean? And then I started back testing it and looking into it and doing all this stuff. And I was just like, no, at the end of the day, bro, I just took a loss. It was just a bad trade. You know what I mean? and my target was previous day's low, and ended up getting taken before London opened. And I could have looked for a reversal here, I guess, because we were in an area for potential reversal, right? Discount of this range inside of this daily for value gap, daily order block, previous daily sweep. So I could have looked for a reversal trade. It was formed, but at the end of the day, it's not that deep. I was overthinking it a lot, and I was talking to my buddy about it, and I feel like I always say this. I just need to keep on remembering this to help pull me out of overthinking spirals and stuff. I just overthink a lot outside of trading in life, so obviously that's going to make its way into my trading. And when that happens, I need to just cut the thought process and then just come back to it later when my brain's all good and chilling out. So that's kind of what I did here. I didn't upload the video yet, but I still wanted to give my input after the trade. So at the end of the day, I was correct in assuming bearishness, but I also could have been correct in looking for the reversal, right? So not that big of a deal. Good learning lesson. And honestly, minus 1% for the first week of the month isn't bad. The first week of every month is usually a hard week for me. So I'm fine with that. Fine with how it ended up playing out. Chilling for the rest of the week, obviously. And we're going to come back next week stronger. So